Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, may His blessings and peace be upon His last Prophet and His household. All praise is due to Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Dear brothers and sisters, respected viewers, may God's peace and blessing be with you wherever you are. This is the 10th episode of the series on Al-Asma al-Husna, beautiful names of Allah or divine attributes. In the previous episode, I talked to you about the name Al-Qahhar, the Dominator. And in this episode, as I promised, I'll be talking about the name Al-Wahhab and Al-Razzaq. For having a better order, let's talk about Al-Razzaq first. Al-Razzaq is one of the names of God that are very popular in the supplications. Rizq in the Arabic language means whatever a living being needs in order to continue his life or its life. So for the animals, it is the food, it is the place of residence and things like this. And for human beings, it is divided into two different categories. The physical rizq, like the food, like the place of residence, like the minimum level of security and things like this. And there is the spiritual rizq, which is necessary for the spiritual life, for the continuation of spiritual prosperity. So Allah is Al-Razzaq in both senses. He gives the food and provides the beings with what they need in both senses, spiritual and physical. Al-Razzaq is again like Al-Ghaffar and Al-Qahhar. It is an exaggerative noun, which means he gives abundantly, Al-Rizq. And Rizq is something that living beings, like human beings, they need it every day and every moment. That's why Allah is Al-Razzaq in particular cases, as He is Al-Razzaq, or giving the sustenance as a whole. What does it mean? It means that He has created and He has designed the creation in a way that different species, they have what they need in nature. So He has created and designed the creation in a way that different species, they have what they need in nature, and it is to their access generally. And also for human beings, the prerequisites, the pre-steps of rizq, of the what a human being need to continue his life, they exist even before the birth of a human being. The family, the kind of social relation, the kind of place, and many things that these are called the blessings of God, and they have been counted in the supplications. And if one tries to count the blessings of God for oneself, physical and spiritual, it is impossible for him to count them all. This is the manifestation of a rizq in our lives and in nature. The manifestation of the rizq as the greater plan of the whole nature and the whole universe. But also there are particular occasions in which it manifests itself to us more vividly, and we can understand it, we can see it, we can notice the rizq, that sometimes a sudden event takes place and the rizq, and we see that this is given to a person as something extra or as something out of the usual process. So both the usual process of sustenance and also the particular cases of, you would say, the gifts that some people have, they are included under the main category of rizq. But these extra and particular cases can be also classified under the name Al-Wahhab or Hiba, the gift giver, which we'll be talking about later in this episode. The rizq has also one other discussion, and that it has been advised to have the rizq if one can get the rizq directly from God. The kind of jobs that they get the rizq, the result of their work directly with the God. For example, farmers, they're very dependent on the nature. So they have lesser mediations in their rizq, in the sustenance that they get from God. But there are mediations in the rizq that we generally, especially in the modern world, there are different mediations in the process of the rizq reaching us, in the process of the things that we need to continue our life with, to reach us. There are different mediations. And it is actually a grace of God for some people that the rizq of others is in their hand, or it is a test of God for these people. Like, for example, we have the narrations that the rizq of the poor is at the hand of the wealthy, and it is a test of God that He has put the rizq of the poor in the hand of the wealthy. So, whether mediated or not, all rizq and all the sustenance that is necessary for life of the beings comes from God. And here again, the principle of attribution things to God, even though they come to us through mediation, can be applied. That with this principle, as I said, things that happen with the mediation of nature or things that happen with the mediation of other people can be attributed to God, because we consider the whole picture, we consider the design, and because it has educative point for us to see ourselves in debt toward God. And for the rizq and the benefits of reciting this name, is one of them is that it increases the rizq. There are methods and there are ways to increase one's rizq, and if a person is in need, there are certain advice in the authentic books that he can follow in order to recite this dhikr, to have this dhikr, in order to increase the rizq. And also, it is a good remembrance to have shukr. When we remember God with His name Al-Razzaq or Al-Razzaq, it leads us to the position of shukr, to thank God for the sustenance that He provides us with in every day. And even before our birth, that He cared about us and He cared about the earth, the place that we live, the food that is suitable for our body. So it is, as I said, a complete plan, and we are at the middle of this plan. We cannot comprehend the totality of this plan in order to have a proper thankfulness toward God. So, more particular than rizq is al-hiba, or the name Wahhab. Another divine attribute is Al-Wahhab. Al-Wahhab means the gift giver, the one who gives things without any exchange. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Wahhab because He gives a special gifts to special people. It is based on some of the wisdom He has. Sometimes it is a test for that person. Some people, they have a special kind of talent. Some people, they have a special kind of intelligence in certain issues. So all of this, for example, they're good at mathematics, they're good at reading, they're good at speaking. These are talents. Sometimes it is a matter of gift, inward gift, and sometimes it's a matter of practice. It is not always a gift, but it's a combination of both. This is the principle of grace that we should be talking about later, about the question of what is the origin of faith, and is it as grace or is it something that can be attained and achieved through personal endeavor. But Al-Wahhab talks about the aspect of God, the aspect of divine providence that gives special gifts, that is something extra than usual. The usual is rizq, but Al-Wahhab is the extra gifts that are given to certain individuals as a result of their actions or as a test to assess their later actions. Al-Wahhab is this divine name, and these names, Al-Razzaq wal-Wahhab, the latter, which means the Al-Wahhab, can be applied to human beings, but Al-Wahhab is for human beings because Al-Wahhab is the exaggerative noun, and it is used for the one who continuously gives gifts. For human beings, Al-Wahhab is a little heavy, so it's better and it is more usual to be used. And it's one of the divine attributes that human beings can represent, can actually follow and mirror the divine attribute in this sense. The giving of gifts, as I said, is either with precedence of a certain action, and that is a kind of reward, or sometimes it is not a reward, and it is just the test that Allah gives a person a certain kind of gift in order to test his action. Now, one point that we should not miss about the rizq is the spiritual rizq, is the guidance, is the proper knowledge, is the ability to have correct obedience to God. These are kind of a spiritual rizq. A spiritual rizq is a vast category under which many things can be classified. As I said, guidance is one of the major spiritual rizq, that many things happen in one's life that we do not have control over, and that he does not have control over, and they have a direct effect on his guidance toward the right path. So one thing that we always ask Allah for is guidance. Guide us toward the right path. Especially Muslims, those who pray, they repeat this sentence that is a part of Surah Al-Hamd. They ask for a rizq, a spiritual rizq, that is guidance. And also we have asking for another spiritual rizq, which is knowledge. وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches the Prophet to ask and make request for a spiritual rizq of knowledge. Say, my Lord or my sustainer, increase me in knowledge. And also husnul khulq is one of the spiritual rizq, having good manner, being able to forgive, having a good heart. These are spiritual rizq that inshallah God grants us with, and you as well. Until the next episode, in which I will be talking to you about the name Al-Fattah. Be under the protection of God. Walhamdulillah.